Me and Carrie getting you out.
Well, coming up tonight at the Allen Event Center, a great show with Starship, with Survivor, and John Parr. And we have the pleasure to have one of those artists in the house. Good morning to John Parr.
Good morning to you.
You find John Parr in the Rock and Roll Encyclopedia in between Parliament and Funkadelic and the Alan Parsons Project.
That's right.
Yeah, we do this. We use this encyclopedia every morning to stump our traffic girl, and we always say who they're in between. We should have done John Parr this morning.
You know what? I didn't want to give it away that we were going to have John Parr in the studio. So great to have you here. I mean, obviously a lot of people know you, John. #1 hit, St. Elmo's Fire. Was that something that you had previously wrote, or did they contact you and write that for the movie?
It was another one like the Tim Tebow thing we were talking about earlier. It was a complete accident. I went over to LA to write the song for the movie with David Foster. We had one day to write a song. It was going in the movie the next day, and wrote the song but couldn't write the lyrics. David showed me a videotape of a guy called Rick Hansen. It was just nothing to do with the movie. He was a guy recently disabled, going on the Man in Motion tour to try and raise money for spinal research. And I was so enamored by what I saw that I wrote the lyric about that. And we've raised $250 million now for spinal research through St. Elmo's Fire, the Man in Motion, and the I-Cord Foundation.
Fantastic.
Do you ever get tired of doing that song? I mean, when you
No.
wrote it, did you think 25, 30 years later?
I didn't think that, but I knew I was blessed that day. I just was so, caught in the moment. And I think it was destiny, really, for Rick and I. I mean, it's the 25th anniversary of the song this year. And it's still on the radio, so it's
still nice to have. Now we got to tell people too. Sports Nation, obviously, a big show on ESPN with Colin Cowherd, and this is another accidental thing you were saying. Tim Tebow phenomenon's going on. It's the day that Tim Tebow is announced that he's going to be a starter. I flick on Sports Nation, and they're doing this whole bit about Tim Tebow, and I'm like, wow, that's John Parr, and I recognize you. And you did kind of a Tebow song that is just blown up, and you say it was complete accident.
My manager Barbara Terry and I had driven up from Carolina to Connecticut to pitch for Monday Night Football. I'd written a song for Monday Night Football. And while we were pitching, they said, the big buzz was about Tim. And they said, you don't fancy going on and, we'll talk about Tim and play St. Elmo's Fire. And just before we went live, they threw the Tebow shirt and said, the jersey, sorry. The jersey. I put the jersey on, and so I'm singing along, and behind me I see Tim on screen. So I just threw in Tim Tebow's Fire, and it just went.
And it was great because they had the whole staff behind you in Tebow jerseys. And then Colin Cowherd, of course, who's not a big Tebow fan, walks in with a Tom Brady jersey on. Everybody kind of kicked him to the side. But that was amazing that you just threw that in.
It was just fun, and I sometimes think, it's like that in the studio. Sometimes you're working. I mean, we had a situation the other day. I'm writing a new album, military album, for the military, and we tend to think of military as men, and of course it's not. There's many women, and I started writing this song called "Fighting Girl," and it gives it again. And they were filming me recording, so they caught me write this song. It was one of my best songs, and it was a really nice subject of every father and husband can think of it. That you've got a beautiful young woman. The father still is 8 years old. And she sees 9/11 and she enlists and she cuts off all her ribbons and her curls, and now she's a fighting girl.
Oh my gosh, that's a great lyric. That website too is johnparramerica.com. Now you're working on it right now, or it's already out?
It's not out. It's called A Mission, and we're going to release it in May. And it's 15 songs about the military experience, really. But it's not marching bands. It's no more not a rock song than St. Elmo's Fire is about disablement. It's just contemporary music that is from the heart. I'm only really interested in making music now that moves people and hopefully does good.
It's amazing you too when you play that song St. Elmo's Fire. I mean, for a lot of us, it's pop culture. It's ingrained in us, and 20 some odd 5 years later, people are still standing up, and you're inside the song, and you never know how it's going to affect people. Does it still kind of blow you away that here it is 25 years later and people still want to hear you play that song?
Well, it does. I mean, tonight, I'll be doing it in a very different way. I'll finish my show, I'll talk about how the song came about, and then just play. I mean, I'll play a little snippet, Growing up, you don't see the writing on the wall. Passing by, moving straight ahead, you knew it all. That kind of
man, keep going, keep going, keep going.
dancing underneath the desert sky. Happy where the eagles fly. Hey, even hey. Wanna be a man in motion. All I need is to be right with you. Take me where my future's like. Sailing on those fire.
That gave me goosebumps.
Look at me, man. I'm the same way. It's just
such a part of our growing up.
It's such a powerful song, like you say. You can use it in so many ways.
Yes.
You know, overcoming adversity and man in motion. You think of all that kind of stuff, and with the passion and all that you sing it with, man. How can you not love that song?
It kind of reflects my own life. You know, I mean, America. I was, you know, I started out when I was an 8-year-old boy being a musician, and I was kind of a bit of a prodigy. And everybody would say, "Are you going to make it?" You know, my dad was my manager, and my little boy turned into a teenager, still didn't make it. You're going to make it. And then my teens turned into my late 20s, still didn't make it. And my last ditch was to come to America, and I came to America in 1983, and in '84 I had a #1 record with Naughty Naughty. You know, so America really, that's really my, you know, it's my savior, you know, and that's really why I'm back now. You know, I've been away a long time, and I'm back to, you know.
And it's so amazing in the music scene too of who makes it where, because here you had Jimi Hendrix, who's one of maybe the greatest guitarists of all time. At first, American audience didn't accept it. He really got the buzz when he went to Britain, and here's somebody, you and Britain had a tough time, but you got the buzz in America.
You know, and it's, you know, it's just fateful, and you're just lucky sometimes that the big trick is to be ready. I mean, that's my greatest advice to anybody. You know, when you get your moment, make sure you're ready.
Wow.
How did this come about with the tour with Starship and Survivor? Did you know any of the guys?
I didn't. I mean, obviously knew of them, you
Yeah.
know, but no. I mean, it really came out of the blue, and I think it was actually the venue wanted me to, you know. I had some great shows in Texas. My first show ever was down in College Station, Bryan, with Toto, way back in the day.
Wow.
And so I always had a great time down here, and I think, you know, when they knew I was back on the scene, they said, "Why don't you come down and open up?" You know.
That's
Fantastic.
great.
So,
You get 3 great, I mean, John Parr, Starship, you know, Survivor, that's a great show together, and obviously, you can listen to John Parr for 2 hours, man.
it's going to be funny because, you know, they're going to be there with, like, you know, 50,000 watts of Marshall amplifiers. I'm going to be here with...
But the way you play, it's like 50,000 watts.
Right.
You're that great of a
Right.
player, man.
Thank you.
It's John Parr, everybody. Once again, thank you so much for coming in this morning.
My absolute pleasure, Johnny and Kerry. Thank you very much.
We have absolutely loved having you, and you got to make us a promise. Don't ever lay down that guitar, okay?
I won't do.
We appreciate that. The great John Parr. You can catch him in concert tonight along with Starship Survivor at the Allen Event Center. It's 8:16.
Thank you.